Perfect. Okay. Thank you. All right. Good morning, everyone. If you are here for court this morning, can I please have you stand up and raise your right hand to be sworn in?
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Yes? Okay. You may be seated. Thank you. All right. Are we ready? Good morning. We have Mr. Wilson. Are we ready? Okay. Perfect. And when are they going to give you a day off? How many? All right. Good morning. Are you Mr. Wilson?
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, this is, well, let me get some of this. 23MM3701. You were arrested for trespass on property after warning. There's probable cause, and I have appointed the public defender.
And Your Honor, the offer from the state is an adjudication of guilt, credit time served, and no return to 4305 North Pine Hills Road. Mr. Wilson would like to accept and enter a plea of no contest.
All right, Mr. Wilson, did you have a chance to read the plea form, sir, before you signed it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And did you have any questions about any of the constitutional rights on the form?
No, ma'am.
Are you on probation?
No, ma'am.
And do you understand if you are not a U.S. citizen that this plea will result in your deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, sir. At this time, I will accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 3 days in the Orange County Jail. You've got credit for 3 days time served. You are not to return to the 7-Eleven. You'll have to pay court costs. Those will be due 1 year from today, or see the clerk for a payment plan.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. And then I'll take no action on the out on bond case.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, Spanish. What am I doing?
Good morning, Your Honor. This is Christopher Vanskoy, Spanish interpreter, previously sworn.
Excellent. Thank you. Good morning. This is Judge Carter. I'm at the BRC. I have the defendant at the podium with the headset on.
One moment, Your Honor, while I establish connection, please.
Thank you.
Connection has been established.
All right. This is 23MM1570. Ma'am, please tell me your name.
Virginia Lopez Sova.
Virginia Lopez Sova.
Ma'am, you were arrested pursuant to a probable cause warrant for violating a domestic injunction. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. At this time, your bond is set at none. Mr. Rich, did you want to enter a denial on behalf of Ms. Lopez Sova? Yes. All right, and we'll give her a VOP date. This is in Division 50. Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Padilla. Is Mr. Padilla Artica coming to court? Okay, no problem. Ms. Rosales?
Señora Rosales.
Good morning, ma'am.
Buenos días.
Would you raise your right hand, please?
Por favor, levante.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Testimonio que prestará en esta causa será la verdad, toda la verdad y nada más que la verdad.
Sí.
Yes.
All right, ma'am. Tell me your name, please.
Por favor.
Danielle Beatriz.
Rosales.
Rosales.
Griseño Rosales.
Ma'am, did you want to have contact with Mr. Padilla?
Señora, ¿desea tener algún tipo de contacto o comunicación con el señor Padilla? Yes.
Do you live with Mr. Padilla?
¿Acaso vive con él?
Llevábamos mucho tiempo ya. Yo tenía unos meses ya conviviendo. Ya todos los días me quedaba con él.
Well, basically, all my stuff was there, was already there, but yeah, it's been 2 months.
You live together in his home?
Not really, but I would stay there basically every night.
Okay. If you're not staying there, then where else do you live?
Pues entonces, si usted no vive allí, ¿dónde es que vive?
Yo vivo aparte en otra casa, en un cuarto alquilada. Él vive
Well,
con su papá y yo todos los días iba a quedarme con él en su casa.
Well, I live in another house. I rent a bedroom. He lives with his father, and sometimes I would stay the night.
I understand.
Okay, entiendo.
How long have you been dating Mr. Padilla?
¿Hace cuánto tiempo ya lleva saliendo con el señor Padilla? About 10 months. We're gonna be together for a year now, come August.
Miss Eugene, did you have any questions for the witness?
No, Your Honor.
All right.
Licenciada, ¿tiene alguna pregunta?
Ms. George, did you want to waive the appearance?
Your Honor, I'm going to waive the appearance, and I would argue no PCS to the kidnapping.
Did you want to be heard, Mr. Jean?
No objection, Your Honor.
Okay. Maybe I'm also confused about the location and the burglary. I also didn't see the probable cause for the burglary.
Your Honor, that's about a third of the way up. It says that she asked him to leave the residence, which Kevin ignores and continues fighting with the victim. I can't pronounce her name.
Okay, they're similar names. Okay, all right. So I will find no PC as to count one. He'll be ROR'd as to that count. There's probable cause for battery and for burglary of an occupied dwelling. Bond on count 2 is going to be 100. Bond on count 3 is going to be 3,500. Mr. Interpreter, at this time I'm going to give the conditions of release, and I'll have you repeat those so that the alleged victim understands what those are.
Okay.
Okay. So Mr. Padilla is to have no contact.
Se le va a prohibir al señor Padilla tener,
They are to maintain a separate residence,
debe mantener una residencia
and he is not to possess any weapons or firearms.
y también se le va a prohibir la aportación de armas de fuego y armas blancas.
Yo quería decirle que yo a él no le puse ningún cargo. A mí me preguntaron que si podía escribir lo que había pasado en ese momento y yo lo escribí, pero yo contra él no tengo ningún cargo. Él a mí en ningún momento me agredió.
Well, I want to say something. I haven't charged him with anything. They only asked me to write what had happened, but I haven't filed any charges against him. He never,
En la
he never harmed
confusión que
me.
estábamos ahí,
So, ma'am, at this stage, it's not up to you whether or not to file charges against him. It's the state of Florida who determines whether or not they're going to prosecute.
Señora, en este momento se le van a levantar cargos o no. Esa decisión la toma la Fiscalía del Estado de Florida.
So they may ask you for your input or for you to write a statement, and you're certainly welcome to give them your opinion. And you can also share that with his attorney. He's represented by the public defender.
Ellos le pueden solicitar a usted su abogado, ya que le están representando el defensor público. Señora. Yeah, because with everything that was happening, my younger sister was the one who called the police. I didn't want to call the police, but she got really nervous, so she called the police, and the police were telling me that they were going to file charges of kidnapping, battery, assault, domestic violence, and all of that, but I didn't file those.
Okay. Again, ma'am, that's something that you're going to want to share with the state attorney's office while they're making their charging decision.
Señora, esta es información que Fiscalía, cuando ellos toman, si van a tomar la decisión de erradicar cargos o no.
All right, and that concludes the hearing for today. Thank you.
y esta corte no...
Oh, and Mr. Tripper, that's all the Spanish cases for now. Thank you.
And Your Honor, I apologize. What was that last case number?
It was...
It's 23 CF 7212.
Thank you so much, Your Honor. Have a great day.
Thanks so much. You too. Good morning, sir. Hi, Julie. How are you? You as well. All right. Sir, good morning. Tell me your name, please. Mr. Garcia? All right, sir. This is 23 CF 7118. You were arrested for burglary of a dwelling in possession of burglary tools. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You are not to return to the scene or have any contact with the victims. Your bond on count 1 is going to be $2,500. Your bond on count 2, sorry. Did you tell him no return to the scene? Okay. And bond on count 1 is $2,500. So, Mr. Garcia, hold on. Mr. Garcia, your lawyer's not going to want you to talk about your case at this time? Sure. I think I said the count two, your bond is $150. The bond's $2,500 and $150. Thank you, sir. Have a good day. You're welcome. Thank you.
Your Honor, as we move on to the resets, S.C. Ward refused.
Well, then we have Mr. Garcia. Oh, that's okay. Thank you. Good morning again.
Good morning, Your Honor. Gustavo Padron on behalf of Edwin Garcia.
Thank you. This is 23 CF 6871. Mr. Garcia, you were arrested pursuant to a probable cause capias for battery by strangulation, domestic violence, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, false imprisonment, and battery. You are represented by counsel. Mr. Padron, did you want to be heard on bond?
Yes, Judge, if I may?
Sure.
Thank you, Judge. Judge, just to give the court a little history, this matter happened sometime in December. He had an injunction. He was arrested after the injunction and placed on bond. His mom paid $10,000 cash bond. He was out. He had a PD, and yesterday was when he was in court, they brought these new charges against him stemming from the same incident that happened in December. So it wasn't a new event or a new violation.
Okay.
And I'm questioning the whole charges, and I'm working on it as diligently as I can.
Sure.
But Judge, considering that the judge did not revoke his bond, and he just still has a $10,000 bond with a no contact order that he's willing to sign again, Judge, I would ask this honorable court for a low bond or ROR because he's still under the $10,000 bond. Thank you, Judge.
Sure. Ms. Eugene.
Sorry, I'm going to compose myself. Your Honor, the state would object to an ROR. After reading the allegations, there is an 18-year-old who has a gun. I'm not sure why he wasn't also charged with kidnapping, because the allegation is he moved a young lady into a bathroom, pointed a gun at her, slung her to the floor, punched her in the back of the head, and strangled her. I would ask that he's still out on bond, and that's fine, but that's for those allegations, not for these. So, no, I would ask that you keep the bond where it is. He hasn't violated, so, yeah, I would ask that you keep the bond where it is and definitely hold on to the no contact, Your Honor.
Judge, if I may?
Sure.
Judge, from my preliminary, we're talking about a boyfriend-girlfriend situation. Judge, I've been trying to diligently find out where the witnesses, any videos. As of right now, being an officer of the court, I'm telling you, I haven't found it. So I've already contacted the judicial assistant on the first case. So I believe that this case is going to go to the same judge.
This is Division 12.
Well, I believe so. So I'm on it, Judge. So once again, I understand what the state's concerns are. However, I do know that we have a $10,000 bond. If ROR is something that the court doesn't want to consider, then a small bond, Judge, so that the family, because they, like I said, they put $10,000 out.
All right, so I'm going to swear Mr. Garcia in to take some testimony.
Absolutely, Judge.
All right. Sir, could you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Did you want to inquire of your own client? I'm not trying to take over.
No, Judge, I understand, and put your hand up. I believe that I understand where the court's going to go. So if the court wants to inquire and he has any questions, you can pause. Understand?
Yes.
But
Okay, so Mr. Garcia, I'm not going to ask you anything about the particulars of your case at all. I just need to establish some criteria when I'm determining your bond. Who do you live with?
My mom.
You live with your mom. Is mom present?
Yes, Judge.
Okay, I see. Well, I see maybe sister. Okay, and now I see mom. And Mr. Garcia, are you 18 years old?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you currently employed?
No, ma'am.
Are you in school?
No, ma'am.
Okay, did you just graduate or? Okay. Does your mom pay for your living expenses?
Does your mother pay for your expenses in the house, or do you help?
I
try my best to help.
Okay. How do you obtain income?
Say it again.
How do you pay for your income? Where do you receive income from? If you're not working, how do you get money?
May I, Judge?
Sure.
Let's answer the judge.
All right. So do you have an answer to my question?
Landscaping.
Landscaping? Who do you landscape with?
Cousin.
Okay.
Just to clarify, Judge, he has an older cousin that I've spoken to, and they do sheetrock, they do landscaping, these things. So if someone calls in sick, they know that he's living with mom.
Okay.
So they'll go ahead and say, hey, come out and work, and they'll pay him. No, they'll pay him with a check, whatever. Judge, another thing, one of the things is that he wants you to know that he is working on getting his GED.
Okay.
I have that at the jail.
Mr. Garcia, do you have a passport?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you would need to turn that into your attorney, okay? Within 24 hours of your release from custody. Could I have mom come forward for me, please? Because I'm assuming mom's going to be posting whatever bond is going to be required. Okay. Mr. Garcia, do you have any money in a savings account or a bank account?
Not at the moment.
Okay. Good morning. Could you tell me your name, please?
Claudia Garcia.
Ms. Garcia. And could you raise your right hand?
Judge, I think you might need an interpreter.
Okay.
Good morning, Your Honor. This is Christopher Vanscoy, Spanish interpreter, previously sworn.
Great, thank you. This is Judge Carter again at the BRC. I have a witness who's going to need your assistance. If you could ask her to raise her right hand, please. Ma'am, do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Sí.
All right. Ma'am, I understand that Mr. Garcia is your son. Is that correct?
Ok, señor García es hijo suyo. ¿Acaso eso es correcto?
Correcto.
Correct.
And he lives with you?
¿Y él vive con usted? Yes.
And will you be the one that is to post whatever bond I set today?
Sí.
Are you employed?
¿Trabaja?
Sí.
Yes.
What kind of work do you do?
Yo trabajo en nursería.
Clarification, Your Honor. Señora, ¿no le escucho qué dijo?
Es nursería, plantas.
I work with plants.
With plants?
¿Con plantas?
Sí.
Yes.
Nursery.
She works at a nursery? You work at a nursery? Ma'am, how much money are you able to post for your son's bond?
Prestar usted para la fianza de su hijo.
Pues, como unos 600.
Around 600.
Okay. And how long have you all lived in Central Florida?
¿Y cuánto tiempo llevan viviendo?
Como 21 años aquí.
About 21 years I've been living here.
Mr. Pavone, did you have any questions for the witness?
Yes, if I may. Ma'am, does your son follow instructions at the house?
¿Sigue instrucciones en la casa?
Sí.
Yes.
Does your son help you with household chores, taking out the garbage?
¿Acaso él le ayuda a usted con los quehaceres del hogar, ya sea sacando la basura?
Sí.
Yes.
If the judge today grants your son a bond that you can afford, will you make sure that your son abides by all conditions that this honorable court says?
Si la juez decide imponer fianza en el día de hoy y usted se lo puede costear, ¿se aseguraría usted que su hijo siga todas las instrucciones que le imponga este honorable tribunal?
Sí.
Yes.
No further questions, Judge.
Ms. Eugene, did you have any questions for either Mr. Garcia or his mom?
I did not, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Gracias, señora. No tiene más preguntas.
Thank you, Mr. Interpreter. I appreciate your help.
You're welcome, Your Honor.
All
and
right.
I apologize. I need the name and the case number. That's it.
Yes, sir. It's 23 CF 6871, and it's Edwin Garcia. Oops. All right. So taking into consideration the testimony this morning, along with reviewing the probable cause affidavit, along with the information provided by pretrial on the face sheet. I am going to, and also taking into consideration the information provided by counsel regarding the other case, I'm going to set bond on count 1 at $1,500. Bond on count 2 will be $150. Bond on count 3 will be $150, and bond on count 4 will be $100.
Thank you, Judge.
Mr. Garcia, you are not to have any contact with the alleged victim. You are not to return to the Florida Mall. You are not to possess any weapons or firearms. You are also to appear at all court dates for both cases. And as I stated earlier, you'll need to surrender your passport to your attorney within 24 hours of your release from the jail. Do you have any other questions or any questions for me about the conditions of your release?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Your Honor?
Yes, ma'am.
I understand that there is the no contact in order, but there was also an allegation that he had gone to her school. So I'd specifically like you to say not to go to her school as well, please.
Okay. So again, Mr. Garcia, the no contact means absolutely no contact. It means that you can't go to her school, where she works, her friend's house, nothing, no contact. And I'm sure that your attorney has explained that to you very, very well. But again, you do not want to violate that injunction or this order because you will end up back here, and I'm almost positive you wouldn't get a bond on that, okay? Or not initially, at least, okay? So make sure you follow that contact order, no contact order, and all the other terms of your release, sir, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Judge, that's all I have. May I
Okay.
be excused?
You may, thank
Always
you.
a pleasure, Judge.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
All right. Or Ms. Ward?
She refused her appearance, Your Honor.
Mental waive, Your Honor.
Okay. 23 MM 3703. Ms. Ward was arrested for trespass on property after warning. There is probable cause. I've appointed the public defender to represent her. She's not to return to the scene. Her bond is $500. I'm not going to take any action on the out on bond case. Are you Mr. Atkins? Sir, this is 23 CF 7909. You were arrested for aggravated battery on a pregnant person, battery by strangulation, domestic violence, burglary of an occupied dwelling, battery, and criminal mischief. Ms. George?
Your Honor, I would argue no PC to the battery by strangulation. Based on the affidavit, there is no indication that the victim's breathing was restricted in any way. So defense would argue no PC.
No objection.
All right. So, Mr. Atkins, at this time, the court is going to set bond at $2,500 on count 1. You will be ROR'd as to count 2 as the court finds no PC. Bond on count 3 will also be $2,500. Bond on count 4 is $100. Bond on count 5 is $100. You are not to have any contact with the alleged victim. You are not to return to the scene, and you are not to possess any weapons or firearms, sir.
Well.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Conway? Mr. Conway, this is 23 CF 7139. You were arrested for battery by strangulation, domestic violence. There is probable cause. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. Good morning, ma'am. Could you tell me your name, please?
Logan Grace.
All right. Are you Miss Graves? Miss Graves, I'm going to need you to come forward to the microphone because I can't hear you.
Yes, I am.
Thank you. Ma'am, did you want to have contact with Mr. Conway? I didn't understand what you said. Did you? I still can't hear you. Are you saying yes?
Yes.
I don't have any further questions. If there's anything else you'd like to tell me this morning, ma'am, you're welcome to. Was there anything else you'd like to tell the court? No? Miss Eugene, did you have any questions for the witness?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Miss George?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. So, Mr. Conway, at this time, I'm going to order that you're not to have any contact with Miss Graves. You are to maintain a separate residence. You may have a one-time return with the police to get your things if needed, and you are not to possess any weapons or firearms, sir.
And Your Honor, he qualifies for pretrial release.
Yes, I'm going to place you on pretrial release at this time. Ma'am, did you have any questions? No? Okay. Thank you.
So there's a lot going on.
Ma'am, good morning.
Morning.
Tell me your name, please.
Conception Jafard.
Ms. Jafard, this is 23 CF 7185. You were arrested for burglary with an assault or battery and battery. There's probable cause for both of the offenses. I am going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Tell me your name, sir.
Natavia Stoff.
Sir, I'm going to need you to move that microphone up.
Natavia Stoff.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And it's my understanding, are you her ex-husband?
Ex-boyfriend.
Ex-partner, okay. And do you want to have contact with her?
No, I do not.
Okay. My understanding, you have a child together?
We have 2 children.
Two children together. Do you share custody with them?
We share custody.
Pardon me?
We do share custody.
Okay. Do you have a parenting plan in place?
We do have a parenting plan in place. It is still in the moment getting solidified. We're going through a court process.
Okay. DCF was contacted?
No.
They were not contacted. Okay. Is there a third party who can facilitate the parenting plan between the two of you? Do you have a friend, sister, mom, dad?
We have no family here. He has a significant other, but we are not in a good place.
Yeah.
Are you opposed to having contact with regard to the children only?
Oh, no, not at all. I would definitely want her to be able to see her kids.
Okay. Ms. Eugene, did you have any questions or want to be heard?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. George?
No, Your Honor.
All right.
And,
go ahead.
Your Honor, actually, in this case, I would ask that, although it's a life offense, you consider setting a bond given the facts of the case and the lack of criminal history of my client.
State has no objection.
All right. So, Ms. Giffard, this offense is actually a punishable by life felony, so ordinarily you would not be granted bond until there was a full hearing on that issue. The court does have discretion in which to set a bond on this offense. The state is not objecting. Your attorney has requested it. I've reviewed your criminal history or lack thereof, and I will exercise my discretion in setting a bond for you today. Are you a nurse?
I am.
Okay, and Orlando, you work at Orlando Health?
No, I work at Florida Cancer Specialists.
Okay, that was your previous employer. Okay. So first, I'll talk to you about this. You are not to have any contact with your ex-partner. The only contact you can have with him is going to be when you exchange your kids, and then via text about the kids.
Understood. I have a question for you. We're currently using the Talking Parent app.
Great. So
is that permissible?
That is 100% fine to use. Okay. My intent was for it to be the communication to be in writing. Okay. So you keep using your parenting app, and then you can obviously the no contact order requires that you stay 500 feet from him or his place of employment, his residence, that kind of thing. But the exception to that is when you're exchanging the kids. How old are the kids?
3 and 4.
Oh, so you definitely have to be close to exchange them. Okay. Does that requirement make sense?
Absolutely.
Okay. And then you cannot possess any weapons or firearms. All right. All right, bond on count 1, I'm going to set at $1,000. Bond on count 2 will be $100. And do you have any questions, ma'am?
Not at the moment.
Okay. Sir, any questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, they can have contact to exchange kids. Ma'am, good morning. Are you Miss Harris?
I am.
All right, Ms. Harris, you are here in 23 CF 7199. You were arrested for aggravated battery, domestic violence. There's probable cause. I am going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You are not to have any contact with the alleged victim. You are to maintain a separate residence. You can have a one-time return with the police to get your things. You are not to possess any weapons or firearms. Megan, can I place her on PTR? Or is it the charge? Okay. All right. So at this time, ma'am, your bond is going to be set at $1,000. So DV by strangulation qualifies for the PTR?
Yeah, it's the aggravated one.
That doesn't make any sense. Strangulation isn't an aggravated battery, but. Good morning. Mr. Lucky?
Yes.
This is 23 CF 7170. Sir, you were arrested for aggravated battery with a deadly weapon. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you, sir. You are not to have any contact with the alleged victim. You're to maintain a separate residence. You can have a one-time return with law enforcement to get your things if you need to, and you're not to possess any weapons or firearms. Your bond, sir, is going to be $2,500. Thank you.
You don't qualify. You don't qualify.
Good morning. Good, sir, thank you. Are you Mr. McMath?
Yes, ma'am.
This is 23 CF 7210. You were arrested for robbery and battery by strangulation, domestic violence. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. You are not to have any contact with the alleged victim. You're to maintain a separate residence. You can have a one-time return with the police to get your things, and you're not to possess any weapons or firearms. Bond on count 1 is $2,500. Bond on count 2 is $500. I've just ordered maintain separate residence. Ma'am, good morning. Are you Miss Soto? Tell me your name.
Carmen Soto.
This is 23 CF 7179. You were arrested for aggravated assault, domestic violence, and battery domestic violence. Sir, good morning.
Morning.
Tell me your name, please.
Jason Rohina.
And sir, do you want to have contact with your wife?
Yes.
Are you afraid of her?
No.
Do you have any concerns about your safety or the children's safety if I were to allow contact between the two of you?
No.
You do not. You've been married for how long?
We got married last year at Valentine's Day, so a little bit over a year.
Okay, but you've been in a relationship for approximately how long?
4 years.
About 4. Has anything like this happened in the past? Or have there been instances of violence between the two of you in the past?
No.
No? Ms. Eugene, did you have any questions?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. George?
No question, Joan.
All right. So at this time, I'm going to order, Ms. Soto, that you are not to have any contact with your husband. You are to maintain a separate residence. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms. You can have a one-time return with the police to get your things if needed. It's not a final order. The division judge can modify that. Your lawyer will need to file a motion. Do you have a third party who can facilitate contact between your children in the meantime?
I do.
Okay. Who would that be?
My parents in Jacksonville.
Okay. Do you have anyone local, a friend, or?
I don't have family out here. I'm totally by myself.
Okay.
I don't have family out here at all. He was supposed to be my family.
Okay. Do you have anyone here that can help you facilitate? Who would that be?
My mother, my sister, brother.
So your mother or your sister are local and would be able to help you exchange the kids?
And my cousin next door. She lives right next door to me.
Okay, so I'm just going to put third party. So what I'm going to order is that you can have contact with your children. You'll need to abide by any DCF requests or their investigation, but she can have contact with the children and they'll be exchanged through a third party, okay? And then bond on count 1 is going to be $2,500. Bond on count 2 is $100.
Anna, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
So the bond for $2,500, is that set at $2,500, $2,500? Is that with a 10%?
So the total amount is $2,600 because there's a $100 bond on the other. She has 2 charges: the aggravated assault with the deadly weapon and then the battery. So you'd need to call a bondsman and then they'll tell you what they would require you to put down of the amount.
And once I do that, she'll be released?
Correct.
And Your Honor, I missed it. You did give a one-time return.
I did.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Abraham. All right, Mr. Abraham, this is 23 MM 3776. You were arrested for battery, dating violence. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Mr. Abraham, how did you get to Florida? Did you fly here?
Yes,
Okay,
for vacation.
right. Has your girlfriend already left?
They leave at, I believe the flight's at 5.
Okay, are you trying to make that flight?
Well, after seeing that, no.
You'll have to see?
No, my seat's next to hers, and I don't believe I can be next to her, so no.
Okay. Well, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Are you trying to get on that flight, though? Because I have to order no contact today because she's not here. But I don't want you to violate the order if you need to get on that plane to get home.
Do I need to? Yes, to get home.
Okay.
Flight's already paid for and everything.
Right.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's a way, one, if you can ask them to have a different seat on the airplane and show them the order.
Yeah, I could do that.
All right.
Pay for a different seat. You can switch them if you pay a fee for it, so.
Yeah, I'm sure that they would.
Yeah, they
probably
will.
give you another seat anyway. I mean, I fly with kids all the time, and they will switch your seats for you. You just can't sit next to her.
Right.
Okay. So I'm going to order that you're to have no contact with her. You have to maintain a separate residence. You can have a one-time return with law enforcement to get your things. You can go back to the Coronado Springs one time. Is it Coronado? Was it?
Oh, yeah, it's Coronado.
Yeah, Coronado Springs one time to get your things if you need to. I'm assuming your stuff's still there.
Yes.
And then you can't possess any weapons or firearms. I'm going to place you on pretrial release at this time, so you're going to need to check in with them. You're going to be checking in by phone from North Dakota. If the state of Florida decides to file formal charges against you, you're going to have to return here. Otherwise, a warrant will be issued for your arrest.
And Ken, then we just have on the order that he can return to North Dakota?
Yes, he may return to North Dakota. Mr. Abraham, do you have any questions?
No, I think the only question I had was one you already answered, so.
Okay. All right, good luck. Mr. Bagley?
Yes.
All right, sir, this is 23MM3770. You were arrested for battery domestic violence. There's probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You are not to have any contact with the alleged victim. You're to maintain a separate residence. You may have a one-time return with the police to get your things if needed. And you are not to possess any weapons or firearms. Your bond is $500, sir. Did you have any questions, sir?
No.
Said no.
Have a good day. Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Tell me your name.
Clifton Oliver Bove.
Mr. Bove, this is 23MM3767. You were arrested for battery domestic violence. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Ma'am, good morning.
Good morning.
Tell me your name, please.
Shanique Saylor.
All right, Miss Saylor, did you want to have contact with Mr. Bove?
Yes.
And are you afraid of him?
No.
You've been in a relationship for 7 months?
Almost a year.
All right. Have there been instances of violence between the two of you in the past?
No, he never really struck me. He just really pulled my hair.
And pulled your hair in the past?
No, this one.
Oh, and
no
this
other
particular
violence.
incident.
No other violence.
Are you telling me in this particular incident he pulled your hair?
Just this incident, but no other incident of violence.
Okay. Are there any kids in the home?
No.
Miss Eugene, do you have any questions?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Miss George?
No questions, Your Honor.
Okay. So, sir, at this time, I'm going to order that you are not to have any hostile contact with Miss Saylor. Do you understand what that means?
Hostile? No.
Means you can't act aggressively toward her in any way. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
You're also not to possess any weapons or firearms, and I'm going to place you on pretrial release. Ma'am, he'll be released later today.
So no bond, right? I don't have to pay no bond?
That's correct.
Okay, that sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Are you Miss Bruce? All right, Miss Bruce, this is 23MM370. You were arrested for battery. There's probable cause. I am going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You are not to have any contact with the alleged victim. Do you live together, ma'am?
No, not anymore.
Okay. I will order that you are to maintain a separate residence. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms. You're also not to possess or consume any alcohol or controlled substances without a valid prescription. Do you have any questions about that? Okay. Ma'am, where are you going to be staying when you're released?
Either my parents or my grandparents.
Where do they live?
My grandpa lives like a couple blocks away from me, and my mom and dad live at 99 Cypress Key Court.
Is this in Winter Garden?
This is in Ocoee.
In Ocoee. Okay. What's your grandparents' address? Do you know?
I don't know his address, but it's right near where I live.
Do you have a phone number for your?
I haven't been able to get in contact with my mom or dad.
Okay.
I haven't been able to make contact with them. They did give me a number, 2 numbers, but they don't work. The officer had gave me 2 numbers.
Megan, can I put her on PTR?
Yeah, there's nothing that disqualifies her.
Okay. All right. I'm going to place you on pretrial release at this time. Thank you, ma'am. Excuse me, ma'am. On the PTR, though, you're going to have random drug and alcohol testing. Okay? Thank you. Ma'am, good morning. Tell me your name.
Annette Harder.
This is 23MM37. You were arrested for battery. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You are not to have any contact with the alleged victim. You're to maintain a separate residence. You can go back one time with the police to get your things, and you're not to possess any weapons or firearms. Do you have any questions about what I've ordered?
We co-own the home.
Okay.
I have nowhere else to go.
Yeah, I can't solve that problem for you, ma'am. You are going to have to speak with your attorney about that and what options you may have. If he's not staying at the house, you can stay there, but if he's there, I can't allow you back there at this time. It's not a final order. It may be able to be modified. Your lawyer will know how to.
He's already staying with my son.
Okay. So like I said, if he's not there, you can be there.
Did you set?
Haven't said it yet.
Oh, okay.
Ms. Harner, how long have you lived in Central Florida?
Probably 30 years.
How many?
30.
30. And your son also lives here?
Yes.
All right. I'm releasing Ms. Harner on her own recognizance at this time. Mr. Johnson?
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning. This is 23MM372. You were arrested for battery, dating violence. There's probable cause. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. You are not to have any contact with the alleged victim. You are to maintain a separate residence. You are not to possess any weapons or firearms. You can have a one-time return with the police to get your things if you need to. And your bond is $500, sir.
That's it.
Mr. Lewis?
Yes.
Good morning, sir. This is 23MM263. You were arrested for battery and assault. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to have any contact with any of the alleged victims. You are to maintain a separate residence. You can have a one-time return with the police to get your things, and you are not to possess any weapons or firearms. Do you have any questions about that order?
What if the victim doesn't want the order?
Pardon me?
Or like, what if the victim doesn't want the order?
They will be able to speak with your lawyer or the state attorney, and they can file a motion to have it modified.
Okay. Also, what if I wasn't read my rights?
Sure. So that's a good question also for your lawyer. Okay? At this time, I am going to place you on pretrial release. So you'll be released later today. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Are you Miss Mabry?
Yes, ma'am.
This is 23MM3774. You were arrested for battery, domestic violence. There is probable cause. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. You are not to have any contact with the alleged victim. You're to maintain a separate residence. You can return one time with the police to get your things, and you're not to possess any weapons or firearms. I am going to place you on pretrial release at this time, ma'am. Do you have any questions about what I've ordered?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Are you Mr. Peterson?
Yes, ma'am.
This is 23MM 3730. You were arrested for battery domestic violence. There's probable cause, and I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Ma'am, good morning.
Good morning.
Tell me your name, please.
Risha Ranson.
Ms. Ranson?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Ms. Ranson, do you want to have contact with Mr. Peterson?
Yes.
And do you currently live together?
No.
No. Do you have any children together?
No.
Okay. Do you have any fear of Mr. Peterson?
No.
Have there been instances of violence between the two of you in the past?
No.
Ms. Eugene, do you have any questions?
No, Your Honor.
Excuse me. Miss
No questions, Your Honor.
George, sorry. Peterson, I'm going to order that you are not to have any hostile contact
Okay, thank you.
with Ms. Ranson. Do you understand what that means?
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Ranson, do you have any concerns about your son's safety?
No.
Okay. You are going to have to continue to maintain a separate residence, and you're not to possess any weapons or firearms.
Okay.
Your bond serves $500.
Okay.
Any questions?
Okay, with the address on file, that's my residence. It's okay for me to go there, right? As long as she's not there, right?
You guys just can't live together. You can
Got
be
it.
together. I've ordered no, did I say no hostile contact?
You said no
Yes.
hostile
Yes.
contact.
What did I say?
No hostile.
Okay.
My bad. I was just
confused.
clarifying. I'm sorry. I'm
Okay,
so sorry.
so you can be together,
Okay,
you just can't live together.
got you.
Okay, she said you don't live together, you gotta keep it the way that it is.
Okay.
Okay? All right, thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Turner? All right, sir. You're here in 23MM 3768. You were arrested for battery domestic violence. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to have any contact with the alleged victim. You are to maintain a separate residence. You can have a one-time return with the police to get your things, and you're not to possess any weapons or firearms. Do you have any questions about what I've ordered?
No, ma'am.
All right, and I'm going to place you on pretrial release at this time, sir. Thank you. Good morning. Are you Ms. Farmer?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Ms. Farmer, you are here for an out-of-county warrant out of Jefferson, Alabama?
Yes, ma'am. But I was in prison. It's for a FTA when I was actually serving prison time for that same sentence, but in Florida, where the Grand Theft Auto initially came out of.
Got it. Okay, so the folks from the fugitive warrant team are going to come and speak with you. If they haven't already, I think they come on Thursday. Yeah, so they come on Thursday, so they're going to come speak with you tomorrow.
Okay.
And then they will explain all of your options to you
Okay.
and what the next step's going to be in the process.
Okay, and I can tell them all that because
Absolutely.
I was in prison. That's the reason I got the FTA.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Good morning. Are you Ms. Hill?
Yes.
Ms. Hill, you are here for an out-of-county warrant out of Brevard County related to child neglect with great bodily harm. At this time, your bond is $10,000. If you're unable to post that bond, Brevard County is going to come and pick you up, and you're going to see a judge when you get there. Thank you. You can bond from here. Thank you. Mr. Jackson?
TOT Duval.
Oh, good. Okay.
TOT to where? I'm sorry.
Duval County.
Thank you.
Mr. Watkins?
Morning.
Good morning, sir. You are here for an out-of-county warrant out of, well, this is another fugitive warrant, out of Garfield, Colorado, related to failure to comply. The fugitive warrant team is going to come and see you tomorrow, and they will have all of the paperwork, and they will explain to you what all of your options are. Okay?
Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Are you Mr. Dorson?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Dorson, you have 3 cases this morning. You have, 1 second, 23 CF 7201, where you were arrested for possession of cannabis with intent to sell or deliver with a weapon in possession of cannabis greater than 20 grams. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Your bond on count 1 is $15,000. Your bond on count 2 is $100,000. That case provides the probable cause for the violations of probation in 20 CF 10189 and 20 CF 7317. Both of those cases, there's, like I said, probable cause for the VOP, and bond will be set at none. Thank you, sir. Ms. Duncan?
Ma'am.
All right, Ms. Duncan, you're here in 22 CF 8104. It's alleged that you violated your probation by committing a new law offense on May 16th of 2023 in Orange County, Florida, wherein you were arrested by the Winter Garden Police Department for driving without a valid driver's license or suspended driver's license.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, can I say something?
I don't want you to talk to me about the facts of your case.
Okay.
You're going to want to talk with your lawyer about that.
Okay. Okay, yes, ma'am.
And it looks like you also had the offenses of possession of a controlled substance and possession of drug paraphernalia on the same day. At this time, ma'am, your bond is set at none. I will appoint the public defender to appoint or to represent you, and they'll have to file a bond motion in Division 14. Sir, are you Mr. Fuller?
Yes, ma'am.
Good, sir, thank you. This is 2008 CF 15274. It is alleged, sir, that you have violated your probation in 23 CF 7146 for the offense of extortion, where you were arrested pursuant to a probable cause warrant. Your bond in that matter is $5,000, and you're not to have any contact with the victim. I'm revoking the bond. Well, hold on. May 26th. All right, so I'm revoking the bond in 23. Oh, you're saying it's 22. This is Division 22, the gold sheet? Okay. No. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, I will not be revoking the bond in 23 CF 4613 at this time. That is a Division 22 case, and I do not have the authority in which to revoke that bond. The VOP and I can't talk this morning either. There is probable cause for the violation of probation, sir, based upon the new law arrest, and your bond on the VOP is set at none. All right, you're going to see Judge Lattimore in about a week.
So you got to deal with it.
Thank you, sir. Good morning. Are you Mr. McElmore?
Yes, ma'am.
This is 19 CF 8850, sir. It is alleged that you have violated your probation. At this time, your bond is set at none. I will appoint the public defender, and you're going to see Judge Lattimore in about a week. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And defense will waive, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, so at this time, I'll appoint the public defender to represent him in 23 MM 3778. He was arrested for providing false ID to law enforcement, possession of drug paraphernalia, and resisting officer without violence. There's probable cause. Bond on count 1 is 500. Bond on count 2 is 100. Bond on count 3 is 100. And then he has 21 MM 7593, where it's alleged he's violated his probation by failing to report. I'll appoint the public defender in that case. Do you want to enter a denial, Ms. George?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and then we'll give him a date for that case.
It's Division 50. It's going to be July 17th at 9 o'clock in courtroom 4E.
Your Honor, with regard to the 33-day motions, do you mind if we start them second session?
Not at all.
Thank you.
Sure. All right, then court will be in recess. Do we want to start what time? Y'all tell me.
12?
Sure. That's fine. All right, so court will be in recess till 12:15.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. This is Peresno Leon, certified Spanish interpreter. I have been previously sworn.
Great, thank you. I have the defendant present at the podium with the headset on.
Sí. The interpreter can confirm there is connection with the headsets, Your Honor.
All right, this is 23 CF 7191. Ma'am, please tell me your name.
Daphne Lynette Aquiles Viegas.
Daphne Lynette Aquiles Viegas.
Ma'am, you were arrested for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and battery. The court finds probable cause.
No.
Hold on.
No.
I'm not stating that it's true. I'm just telling you what you've been arrested for.
Okay.
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 I will appoint the public defender to represent you. You are not to have any contact with the alleged victim or possess any weapons or firearms.
Okay.
Okay.
Your bond on count 1 is $1,500. Your bond on count 2. Thank you, ma'am.
Termine?
Is it over?
The hearing is over. Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sir, good afternoon. Tell me your name.
Avidan López López. Fernando Avidan López López.
Fernando Avidan López López.
This is 22 CF 1896. You were arrested pursuant to a probable cause warrant for sexual battery of a person 12 years of age or older, 2 count.
Your Honor, just for clarification, an information has been filed.
Okay.
So the count 1 remains as is, but count 2 is actually domestic violence battery.
And sexual battery on a person over 12 is at F2, correct?
No, Your Honor, this is a PBL. It's over 12, under 18.
Is that what was filed on? Okay. All right, sir, you are not to have any contact with the alleged victim or any witnesses in the case. You're not to have any contact under the age of 18. You are not to maintain. You are to maintain a separate residence from the victim. If you need to go back and get your things one time with the police, you may do so. You're also not to possess any weapons or firearms.
We're not finished. She hasn't set the bond yet.
No, I haven't set the bond yet. Right, count 2, bond is going to be set at $5.
Is it $5?
On count 2, yes. It's set at $35,000 on count 1.
May I speak?
Sir, you're not going to want to talk to me about the facts of your case. Everything in the courtroom is recorded, so your lawyer is going to ask that you remain silent at this time. If you have a question about your conditions of release, I'd be happy to try to answer those for you, but otherwise I think it's in your best interest not to talk about the facts.
¿Cómo de qué? Disculpe.
My apologies. Pay for this.
You would have to post a bond to be released from the jail.
Pero quiero comunicarme con un familiar para poder deben a pagar el dinero.
The thing is that I want to get in contact with any family relatives so they can come and pay for the bond.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sir, good afternoon. Tell me your name, please.
Joshua Perez.
Joshua Perez.
This is 23 CF 7197. You were arrested for battery on a law enforcement officer, possession of cocaine, resisting officer violence, possession of evidence. There's probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent. Bond on count 1 is $2,500. Bond on counts 2. Thank you, sir. Sir, good afternoon. Tell me your name, please.
Carlos Outlet.
Carlos Outlet.
Correct.
Sir, this is 23 CF 7203. You were arrested for possession of MDMA and destruction of evidence. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Your bond on count 1 is $1,000. Your bond on count 2 is $150.
La primera vez que yo paso por esto, no sé mucho de esto. Yo nunca había tenido problemas con la justicia.
With the law.
I'm sure that you can explain that to your attorney and they can talk to the state about that and they can take that into consideration when discussing your.
Okay.
Sir, tell me your name, please.
Buenos días, más que todo. David Jonathan Turcio, Venezuela.
David Jonathan Tuela, and good morning to you.
Sir, this is 23 CF 7215. You were arrested for attempted murder. You are not to return to the scene or have any contact with the victim. Your bond on count 1 is 1,000. Your bond on count 2 is 100. I also need to inform you that you do have an immigration. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Muchas gracias.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. And I believe that was the last Spanish case. So thank you very much for your help.
At your service, Your Honor. Have a wonderful afternoon.
All right. Good afternoon. This is Judge Carter. Who am I speaking with?
Judge Carter,
Yes,
I'm the interpreter on the line right now.
Yes, okay, thank you. This is case number 23MM3764. We're helping the defendant put the headset on, or we don't need the headset, we're doing it over the loudspeaker. I know, I have an interpreter. Could you ask her to state her name, please?
Ok, moi c'est Judge Carter. Est-ce qu'on a dit non, s'il vous plaît, nous avons interprète. Pauline dit Augustine, Pauline dit Augustine.
All right, Miss Augustine, you were arrested for trespassing.
Ou te yo arrêté Madame Augustine pour trespassing parce que vous êtes allé en côté que vous pas autorisé pour rentrer. Yes.
There is probable cause. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. Was there an offer related to Miss Augustine, or is there an offer for Miss Augustine?
No, Your Honor, I believe this was actually a residence, so at this time, no.
Okay, so nous pas signer un public defender pour Kaola. I didn't hear. I'm going to repeat it. You pas un public defender pour occuper Kaola. Okay.
Augustine, do you understand that you can't return to the house where you were arrested?
Okay, moi pas aller encore.
I'm not going to go anymore. Okay.
All right, ma'am. So at this time, I am going to release you on your own recognizance. Go ahead, Madam Interpreter.
Okay, so kounya ma pal kite ou lage, ma plage ou, ma kite ou ale, pour ka faire jugement, pour même ou ka utiliser propre jugement.
Miss George is handing you a form that has the contact information for the public defender.
Okay, so na ba ou numéro yo pour public defender qui c'est défenseur public là que y a ba ou li gen liste non moun yo.
Pas bien tande ça non? Ou ka répéter la?
I didn't hear it. Can you repeat it again?
That form is the contact information for the public defender's office.
So formulaire que na ba ou là, document que na ba ou là, li gen information pour défenseur public là, li gen tout numéro contact li pour ka rele yo pour yo ka prend ka là.
Ah okay, mais faut que c'est moi pour rele yo.
So I'm the one who's supposed to call them?
Yes, you are, within 24 hours of your release from the jail.
Oui, on suppose rele yo avant 24 heures de temps que you la go de prison.
Okay, okay.
Okay, no problem.
Okay. And when you're released, they're going to give you a court date.
Et là, yo la ge ou nous pas ba un date pour venir dans tribunal.
Okay, okay.
You need to make sure that you're at the court date, and it'll be downtown at the courthouse.
Okay, so assure ko la ko vini et jou ko ou gen rendez-vous pour venir et c'est à la ville dans downtown. Okay? So assure ko vini.
Okay, okay.
All right. Otherwise, they'll issue a warrant for your arrest.
Ou sinon, si pas vini, il y a pas le faire, il y a pas demander que yo vinn arrêter ou.
Ma vini, pas besoin de tout problème, ma vini.
Don't worry about it. I'm going to make sure that I come.
Good. Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, merci un peu.
Your Honor, to
Okay, thank you so much.
To confirm, you did find probable cause, but you're just releasing defendant ROI.
Correct.
Okay.
Oh, Madam Interpreter, thank you so much for your help.
Okay, my pleasure, and thanks for using our services. Have a nice day.
You too.
Au revoir. Okay, bye.
Mr. Book, is that you? You have to answer out loud, sir.
Yes.
Thank you. This is 23MM3753. You were arrested for trespass on property after warning. Is probable cause. I don't know if it's me. Is it me that keeps doing that?
I don't know.
I keep looking at Miss George.
Sorry, I didn't know if it was me.
Or me, I know. Mr. Bookhardt, you were arrested for trespass on property after warning. There is probable cause. Was there an offer for card?
The offer from the state is an adjudication of guilt, 5 days in the Orange County Jail with credit for 2. and no return to the 7-Eleven located at 605 West Colonial Drive. And Mr. Bookhart would like to accept and enter plea of no contest.
All right, Mr. Bookhart, did you read the plea form that I'm holding here, sir, before you signed it?
Yes.
Do you have any questions about any of the constitutional rights on the form?
You gotta say no.
No.
Are you on probation?
No.
No.
And do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, this plea will result in your deportation?
You are.
Mr. Bookhart, do you understand?
Do you understand?
I guess.
Well, you either do or you don't.
What was the question again?
Mr.
Because
Bookhart,
none of this is really even making sense to me. I just don't even know why I was arrested in the first place. That's what I'm originally thinking in my head.
okay. Okay. Well, you don't have to enter a plea today, sir.
No, she just told me I get 5 days time served.
Right, if you want to enter the plea, but if you don't want to, you're not required to.
Correct.
Okay, so what would you like to do?
Except the 5 days.
Okay, so just answer my question. Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen that this plea will result in your deportation? Do you understand that? Is that yes?
Yes.
All right, sir. At this time, I'm going to accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 5 days in jail with credit for 5 days time served, or excuse me, 2 days time served. You're not to return to the 7-Eleven. You will have to pay court costs. Mr. Bookhart, are you listening?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Those court costs will be due 1 year from today, or you need to see the clerk for a payment plan. Mr. Bookhart, if you return to that 7-Eleven, you're going to get rearrested. So please, you cannot go back there. At this time, I'm not going to take any action on. Mr. Woods, is he coming?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hello, sir. Are you Mr. Woods?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. This is 23MM3747. You were arrested for trespass on property after warning. I do find probable cause. Is there an offer for Mr. Woods?
I heard adjudication and credit for time served.
And no return to 2500 West Oak Ridge Road, Your Honor. And he would like to accept and enter a plea of no contest.
Mr. Woods, did you read that plea form you're signing?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you have any questions about any of the constitutional rights that you're giving up?
No, ma'am. Just hope that I'd be released immediately. I'm homeless. So I sleep on the grass, the dirt, the ground, and I thought I was on public property. The grass between Valcario and the sidewalk doesn't really have an address, a specific location. I was told by previous police officers that it was okay to be there as long as I wasn't on their parking lot. So I was very confused. But I left an entire cart of things at the location, and it's all that I have. It would be like the 5th shopping cart of things is just gone.
Okay.
If I could be released immediately as soon as possible, I would appreciate that.
Listen to me. You're not allowed to go back to the property. So if you left the property there, you're going to have to, I'll give you a one-time return.
Okay.
Are you on probation, Mr. Woods?
No, ma'am, not at all.
And do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen that this plea will result in your deportation?
Understood.
All right, at this time, I will accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in the county jail with credit for 2 days time to Calviro Christian Academy.
How are you?
You may go back one time with the police to get your things. You will have to pay court costs. Those will be due 1 year from today, or you need to see the clerk for a payment plan, and I will take no action on the out on bond.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Woods.
Young Douglas Green refuses appearance.
Want to try him tomorrow?
No, I was actually going to argue no PC.
Okay.
Based on the affidavit, it does not indicate that the vehicle was stopped at a traffic light, traffic control device. So I would argue no PC as to the disorderly conduct, as that is a requirement per the statute.
Yes.
How you doing, sir?
All right.
This is 23MO771. You were arrested for camping. There's probable cause. Was there an offer for Mr. Reed?
It's an adjudication and credit time served.
Mr. Reed, were you accepting the state's offer?
Yes.
Did you read the plea form, sir, before you signed it?
Yes.
Do you have any questions about any of the rights you're giving up?
No.
Are you on probation?
No.
You understand if you're not a U.S. citizen that this plea will result in your deportation. And
And I didn't have the case number.
It is 23 MO771. Mr. Reed, I will accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in jail with credit for 2 days' time served. You will have to pay court costs due 1 year from today or see the clerk for a payment. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
Good morning.
Tell me your name.
Fuller.
Mr. Fuller, this is 23MM 3618. This is your arraignment for the offense of petty theft. Ms. George, how would he like to proceed?
The offer. The offer from the state is an adjudication of guilt, credit time served, and no return to 225 South Cimarron Boulevard. Yep, that's right. That's something.
Mr. Fuller, you'd like to accept that offer?
I do, you meant.
And did you read the plea form?
I think so. No.
Right, but the plea form that you just signed, did you read it and understand it?
Yes, I understand. I'm giving up my rights.
Okay. And are you currently on probation?
No.
Do you understand, if you are not a U.S. citizen, that this plea will result in your deportation?
Yeah.
All right, sir, at this time, I will accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 67 days in the Orange County Jail. You've got credit for 67 days time served. You are not to return to the scene. You'll have to pay court costs. Those are due 1 year from today, or you need to see the clerk for a payment plan.
I get a paper with the amount and everything.
You will definitely get paperwork. All right? Thank you, sir.
And, Your Honor, could I have a moment? Ms. Bentley was just brought up.
Sure.
I already talked to you. Okay. You were, okay. No, I already spoke with her. Yeah.
Okay.
You can't ask her about the other one?
So this is 20MM 3705. Ms. Bentley, you were here for arraignment on the offense of petty theft. How did you want to proceed?
The offer from the state is an adjudication of guilt, credit time served, no return to the Walmart located at 11250 East Colonial Drive. And Ms. Bentley would like to accept the state's offer and enter plea of no contest, Your Honor.
Did you have a chance to read or review the plea form before you signed it? Yes?
Yes.
Did you have any questions about any of the constitutional rights that you're giving up?
No,
Are you currently on probation?
No, ma'am.
And do you understand, if you're not a U.S. citizen, that this plea will result in your deportation?
Yes.
I will accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 9 days in the county jail with credit for 9 days time served. You're not to return to the Walmart, and you'll also have to pay court costs due 1 year from today or see the clerk. Thank you, ma'am.
But even though my bond's amount is 100, you're putting 1,000?
Sir, good afternoon. Your name?
Anthony Bridge.
This is 23MM 3617, your arraignment for the offense of battery. Ms. George, how would you like to proceed?
We're going to enter a plea of not guilty, Your Honor.
Mr. Bridge, at this time, your lawyer has entered a plea for a plea of not.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. This is 23MM93. This is your arraignment for the offense of trespass in a structure. Ms. George, how would
And the offer from the state is an adjudication of guilt, credit time served, no return to 1190 North Park.
Okay.
There's a cost of investigation of $169.13 to the Winter Park Police Department. And Mr. Thomas would like to accept it.
I'm sorry, what do I need to do?
Thomas.
So I want, Your Honor, I would not be accepting another put on the trespassing on there. What happened was, I have.
That's why I didn't know. So we're gonna enter a plea of not guilty.
Okay, yes.
Okay. So we're gonna enter a plea of not guilty.
Okay. This is Division 81.
Yeah, I am accepting. I'm sorry.
Moment,
She was
Your
talking to me. I was trying to, no, I'm sorry.
Have a moment, Your Honor.
Are we good?
Yes, we're gonna accept the offer and enter a plea of no contest.
Okay. Mr. Thomas, did you have a chance to review the plea form before you signed it?
I'm sorry.
Did you, Mr. Thomas, did you review the plea form before you signed it?
Yes.
Okay. Did you have any questions about any of the constitutional rights that you're giving up that are on the form?
Yes, I mean that I know basically I'd be out today, though, right?
You what?
I would be out today, right?
You're playing out today, but I was asking if you had any questions about the rights on this form.
Oh, no, ma'am. So that means that, could you go and explain to them? I mean, I don't know. I ain't never been in the court. I ain't never been in no trouble in my life.
Okay. So just so we're clear, on the form that you read, you have indicated that you understood that you're giving up your right to have a jury trial as to whether or not you committed the offense of trespassing.
Yes.
Do you understand that? All right, so you
I will
won't.
never return, no.
Well, right. So we're not going to have a trial. You're not going to be able to put on any evidence, witnesses, or defenses to this charge. Do you understand? You're admitting that you did trespass today.
Yes.
Okay.
I promise, and I said to myself, I never step on the property no more.
Perfect. Okay. Are you on probation?
No, man, I ain't never had no felonies in my life.
And do you understand that if you're not a U.S. citizen, this plea will result in your deportation?
Okay. So I'm going to be released today?
You understand that if you're not a U.S. citizen, that this plea will result in your deportation?
I'm a United States, yes. I'm a United States citizen.
All right, sir. So at this time, I'm going to accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in the Orange County Jail with credit for 2 days' time served. You're not to return to the scene. You'll have to pay court costs, including the cost of investigation, to the Winter Park Police Department in the amount of $169.13. Those will all be due 1 year from today, or you need to see the clerk for a payment plan.
Your Honor?
Yeah.
If I could amend that, you can change it to a withhold.
Okay. So, all right, thank you, Mr. Thomas.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you.
Mr. Arnold, or Miss Arnold?
Hi, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
I'm great.
Ms. Arnold, this is 23MM3762. You were arrested for trespass on property after warning.
Yes, ma'am.
There is probable cause. Was there an offer for Ms. Arnold?
Yes, Your Honor, an adjudication of guilt, credit, time served, no return to 8750 Universal Boulevard. And Ms. Arnold would like to accept and enter a plea of no contest.
Ms. Arnold, did you read the plea form before you signed it?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any questions about any of the rights on the form?
No, ma'am.
And are you currently on probation?
No, ma'am.
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen that this plea will result in your deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. At this time, I will accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in the Orange County Jail. You've got credit for 2 days time served. You cannot return to the scene. You'll have to pay court costs. Those are due 1 year from today, or see the clerk for.
I'm sorry?
You have to pay your court costs within a year, or see the clerk for a payment. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
Braithwaite? All right.
There's actually an offer to resolve the case. Could we reset for tomorrow to see if we could, I don't know if she wants to plea or.
Collins, Aaron Collins. Mr. Collins, this is 23MM3766. You were arrested for criminal mischief and for petty theft. There's probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Was there an offer for Mr. Collins?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Collins. All right, sir, at this time, your bond on count 1 is 500. Your bond on count 2 is 100. You are not to return to the scene or have any contact with the victim. Thank you, sir.
Reset for tomorrow. There's actually an offer to resolve, Your Honor.
Yes. Mr. Doe.
Do you know his name?
Not last I checked.
What?
Last I checked, we hadn't fingerprinted him yet or gotten a name.
So there's a bond. Your Honor, there's a bond on here.
Yeah, okay. I'm just going to find a waiver of his appearance based on his inability to come to court due to his behavior.
Yes, Your Honor.
In 23MM3772, there's probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent him. He's not to have any contact with the victim, return to the scene, or possess any weapons or firearms, and I will stay the bond at 500. Octavia Hamilton, is that you?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Sir, this is 23MM3773. You were arrested for battery and resisting officer without violence. There is probable cause. I am going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You are not to return to the scene, have any contact with the victim, or possess any weapons or firearms. Your bond on count 1 is 500. Your bond on count 2 is 100. 100. And I'm not going to take any action on the out on bond case. Jada Head, Mr. Johnson. Good afternoon. Good, sir. Thank you. This is 23MM3761. You were arrested for trespassing. There is probable cause. Is there an offer for Mr. Johnson?
Yes, an adjudication of guilt, credit time served, no return to 8750 Universal Boulevard. And Mr. Johnson would like to accept and enter plea of no contest.
All right, Mr. Johnson, did you read the plea form, sir, before you signed it?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any questions about any of the constitutional rights that you're giving up? You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you on probation? And do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen that this plea will result in your deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
At this time, I will accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in jail. You've got credit for 2 days' time served. You're not to return to the scene, and you'll have to pay court costs. Those are due 1 year from today, or see the clerk for a payment plan. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Vaughn?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Vaughn, this is 23 MM 3775. You were arrested for trespass on property after warning and petty theft.
Your Honor, I had a no PC, unless I'm missing it, to the trespass after a warning. At the time he was picked up for the petty theft. At the time he was arrested for the petty theft, they issued a trespass warning, but the Walgreens is open to the public at that time. There was no warning based on this affidavit that was given to leave the property. Based on my reading, so I would argue no PC as to the trespass after a warning.
It would still be a trespass, though.
Yes.
Okay. Was there an offer for Mr. Vaughn?
Based on the petty theft, Your Honor, no.
Okay. All right. So, Mr. Vaughn, I do find probable cause for trespass on property and for petty theft. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Where are you staying, Mr. Vaughn?
I don't have a place to stay, ma'am. I can't get an offer on the petty theft.
They
I mean,
won't.
I didn't even have it in my possession.
I need you to help me for a second, though, Mr. Vaughn.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you stay in Orlando?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you intend to stay in Orlando?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I have a court date. I will make it, ma'am.
Got it. Okay. So, Mr. Vaughn, do you have a phone number?
No.
No. Do you know where the Orange County Courthouse is?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So, the public defender's office is also right next door to the courthouse downtown on Orange Avenue. I'm going to release you today on your own recognizance. You are not to return to the Walgreens.
Yes, ma'am.
You need to get in contact with your public defender. They're going to give you a court date when you leave the jail.
Yes,
You make sure you're
I
there.
will be there. Yes, ma'am.
All right.
God
Have a good day.
bless you, ma'am. Right.
So they can
All right, my court, okay. Thank
give you a court date when you
They'll be calling me out today, right?
Unless you have another hold, I don't. Okay.
God bless you.
You too, sir. Mr. Washington?
Yes, ma'am. How you doing?
Good, sir. How are you?
Okay.
Who do you think I'm going to tell you look like?
Terrence Howard.
Yes.
That's what they
You-
told me. They
you
called
get that
me
all the
Lucius.
time?
They call me Lucius Lion.
You do. And you sound like him, too. I wondered if you were going to be able to guess that.
The role?
Yeah, I'm sure you did get that. What did you say?
I can get the role. Can I
Oh,
play
the role?
Yeah.
You definitely. So this is 23 MM 3769. You were arrested for petty theft. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Ms. Eugene, was there an offer for Mr. Washington?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. So, Mr. Washington, you are not to return to Save-A-Lot. Mr. Washington, are you paying attention?
I'm listening.
Okay. You're not to return to the Save-A-Lot. Where do you stay?
77 Cornelia Court with my mom.
All right, here in Orlando?
Yes, ma'am.
You know where the Orange County Courthouse is?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm going to release you on your own recognizance at this time. You need to make sure that you appear at the court date that they give you when you're released from the jail.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay? And that you get in contact with your public defender.
Okay, excuse me. Because I just got out Thursday.
This is the phone number.
Okay, but is it something else I need to ask you pertaining to?
No.
You got to hear me. I just got out of prison Thursday,
Yeah.
doing 7.5 years. I was supposed to register. You know, you have to register when you go to prison. You know what I'm saying? I came up here yesterday and tried to register. The lady said, well, I need to come back. You know what I'm saying? I want to make sure I don't get no trouble.
Well, Mr. Washington, I don't have any indication here that you would have something to register for.
So I don't have no warrants or anything.
Megan, does he have any warrants or holds?
No, I mean, he's right. He got out 525.
I see that, but I don't see an offense.
Yeah, I don't see
All
which
I'm
you'd
worried
have
is
to
about me
register.
registering and not getting in trouble. That's all I'm worried about. Because I asking you because you a judge, but I asked this lady, and she told me to come back the next day at 1 o'clock. I go when I don't want to get
Are
violated.
you on probation of any sort?
I have no probation, but when you got out of prison, you have to go register. To book in, you have to register. You have to register.
Okay, you wouldn't but know better than I would about that.
Okay, that's all I'm asking.
Okay, all right, Mr. Washington. I hope you have a good day, sir. This is Mr. Winston.
Bradshaw.
This is Bradshaw.
What about Winston? Cynthia Winston? That's okay.
But you'll be released on the failure to appear. Okay. Wait, she has to give you a pen.
Miss George, you want to bring her back tomorrow?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Bradshaw?
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Bradshaw, you are here in 23 MO 340. Sir, you failed to appear for pretrial on May 25th. Your bond is $1,000. Did you want to enter a plea to that case today?
Yeah, there's actually an offer to resolve with an adjudication of guilt, credit time served. There's a $10 filing fee as well as court costs, and Mr. Bradshaw would like to accept the state's offer and enter a plea of no contest.
Okay, did you read the plea form, sir? Do you have any questions about any of the constitutional rights on the form? Are you on probation? Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen that this plea will result in your deportation? You understand that? Yeah. Okay. At this time, I'm going to accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in the Orange County Jail. You've got credit for 2 days' time served. You will have to pay court costs, including the $10 filing fee. Those will be due 1 year from today, or see the clerk for a payment plan. Thank you, sir. That's okay. BRC 1. Got it. Thank you. Are you Mr. Yeah. Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, Mr. Johnson, I'm glad you can hear me. I was trying to see if your attorney was on the screen yet. That's okay.
I can, Your Honor. Can you hear me?
Now I can. Who am I speaking with?
Jason Bankowitz, Your Honor, on behalf of Mr. Johnson.
Good afternoon, Mr. Bankowitz. We're trying to turn the TV on here in just a second. Thank you. Hopefully you can see into the courtroom.
I can see your end, Judge.
Can you see Mr. Johnson?
I do, Judge.
Okay, Mr. Johnson, obviously you can see Mr. Bankowitz. We are here this afternoon in 23 CF 5725. Mr. Johnson, you were arrested pursuant to a probable cause warrant for scheming to defraud and grand theft third degree. The bonds set on it are $1,500 and $500, and stay away from lows. I did review the affidavit. It appears to me, correct me if I'm wrong, Ms. Eugene, that the alleged offense date is March 5th of 2023, which is what is indicated in the affidavit for the arrest warrant, and then the investigation continues through April. And that was important and relevant because the two out on bond cases, his date of arrest is 4/16 on both of those. And so this new case would predate those arrests. And I'm looking at the top of page 2 of the affidavit. Just want to make sure. Did you have a chance to look at it, Mr. Bankowitz?
Yes, Your Honor, and that was my understanding. I knew that it was similar charges, so looking at the dates, that was why we wanted to make sure we appeared, because I believe the same. I believe that I think the previous ones were a January and a February date. This is a March date, and I think he was placed on bond in April, so yeah. Our understanding would be the same as the court's, that he would not have been out on bond when this new law offense occurred.
All right.
Yes, Your Honor, it does appear that it started March 5th.
Good. Okay. So at this time, I'm going to stay the bond at $1,500 on count 1 and $500 on count 2. Again, sir, you're not to return to the lows, and I'll take no action on the out on bond cases. Anything else, Mr.
Thank you, Judge. Nope, that was reason for us being there. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, you're welcome. Have a good day.
You too.
All right. Ms. Chang? Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
You are here in 23 MM 3731. You failed to, oh no, this is not a failure to appear. This is an actual warrant for a petty theft. Your bond is $500. You're not to return to the Walgreens at 5501 South Kirkman. Has this case been filed on, Miss Eugene, do you know?
No, Your Honor, it has not.
Okay. All right. Well, Ms. Chang, I'm actually going to release you on your own recognizance at this time.
Thank you, Your Honor.
But you cannot return to the Walgreens. Do you understand?
I do.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Make sure that you appear at the court date that they're going to give you when you're released from the jail.
You're welcome.
So this is 23MM3243. Are you Mr. Crow?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Crow, you were here for a violation of pretrial release conditions. This is on a petty theft. I do see that an information was filed. Ms. Eugene, were you prepared to make an offer on this case?
No, Your Honor, I did not make an offer.
Mr. Crow, did you want to resolve this case today?
Yes, I would love to, just for the simple fact of I'm dealing with another case. I think, I'm not sure.
Okay, so this is actually filed as a second-degree misdemeanor. The maximum penalty is 60 days in jail, 6 months of probation, and up to a $500 fine. The offense of petty theft is an enhanceable offense, meaning that it can subsequently be charged as a misdemeanor or a felony. Do you understand that?
Now I do, yes.
Okay. Did you want to proceed with pleading today, or would you like to pay your bond?
We don't know yet.
Okay, Your Honor. What would be the offer?
It's an adjudication of guilt, credit for time served, no return to Walgreens, and court costs.
He will like to accept.
Thank you, Ms. Judge.
PTR. Okay. So, Mr. Crow, did you have a chance to review that plea form, sir?
We were just going over it, Your Honor.
Okay.
Did you think?
I believe so. And he signed the plea form, Your Honor.
All right. Sir, did you have any questions about any of the constitutional rights on the form?
I do get a copy, correct?
Of what?
Of the paper I just signed.
Yes, it should be in your paperwork. It'll also be a part of the court file.
Mm-hmm.
I do appreciate
But my question is, do you understand the constitutional rights that you're giving up?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Okay. Are you on probation?
Yeah, ma'am.
And do you understand if you are not a U.S. citizen that this plea will result in your deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So at this time, I will accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 4 days in jail with credit for 4 days time served. You're not to return to the Walgreens. You will have to pay court costs. Those will be due 1 year from today, or you need to see the clerk for a payment plan.
And how much would that be?
I'm not sure. It'll be in your paperwork.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I'm going to find a waiver of his appearance based upon his refusal to come to court. In 23 MO 766, there is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender. His bond is set at $250, and I'm not going to take any action on the out on bond case. Mr. Galloway? This is 23 MO 768. You were arrested for disorderly conduct. There is probable cause. Was there an offer for Mr. Galloway?
An adjudication of guilt, credit, time served, and Mr. Galloway would like to accept the state's offer and answer a plea of no contest.
Mr. Galloway, did you read the plea form, sir? Do you have any questions about any of the rights on the form? Are you on probation?
Oh, yeah.
Do you understand if you are not a U.S. citizen that this plea will result in your deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
And, sir, at this time, I will accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in jail with credit for 2 days time served. You will have to pay court costs. Those will be due 1 year from today, or you'll need to see the clerk for a payment plan. Thank you, sir. Are you Mr. Moore?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Moore, this is 23 MO 770. You were arrested for disorderly conduct. There's probable cause. Was there an offer for Mr. Moore?
Yes, Your Honor. The offer from the state is an adjudication of guilt, credit, time served, and Mr. Moore would like to accept and enter a plea of no contest.
All right, Mr. Moore, did you have a chance to review that plea form, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you have any questions about any of the rights on the form? Yeah. Are you on probation? Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen that this plea will result in your deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so at this time, I will accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in jail with credit for 2 days' time served. You will have to pay court costs. Those will be due 1 year from today, or see the clerk for a payment plan. And I will not take any action on the out on bond case. Have a good day, sir. Mr. Strickland? All right, sir, good afternoon. This is 23MO767. You were arrested for urinating in public. There is probable cause. Was there an offer for Mr. Strickland?
Yes, Your Honor. The offer from the state is an adjudication of guilt, credit, time served, and he would like to accept and enter plea of no contest.
All right. Mr. Strickland, did you read the plea form?
Yes, ma'am. I'm aware of what I'm pleading out.
Okay. Did you have any questions about the rights on the form?
No, that I understand it, ma'am.
And are you on probation?
No, ma'am.
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen that this plea will result in your deportation?
Yes, I do understand that.
All right. At this time, I will accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in jail with credit for 2 days' time served. You'll have to pay court costs. Those will be due 1 year from today, or see the clerk for a payment plan.
I understand. So I will be out this afternoon because I've been for about 2.
Have a good day.
Good evening.
No action on the auto bond, right? Or the RORs?
What?
No action on his ROR?
No. Joshua Moldavar, Rondon, Marie Benamin, Robert Fonseca Rivera, Edgar Rivera. Good afternoon, sir. You are here because you failed to appear in 22 CT 5541 for arraignment on the offense of operating a car without a valid driver's license. Was there an offer for Mr. Rivera?
There was an offer, Your Honor.
An adjudication of guilt and credit time served.
Okay.
I didn't know.
Did you want to accept the adjudication of guilt, credit time served, Mr. Rivera?
I gotta go to work tonight at 9. I'm trying to make it.
No problem. So did you have a chance to review that plea form?
I'm good. I'm good. There was something that I thought it was not there, and it was like last year, November.
Right, but I'm talking about the plea form.
Hey, please, it's just
Okay. And are you on probation?
No.
Do you understand that if you're not a U.S. citizen, that this plea will result in your deportation?
U.S. citizen.
All right, sir. At this time, I'll accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in jail with credit for 2 days' time served. You will have to pay court costs. Those will be due 1 year from today, or you have to see the clerk for a payment plan. And you also have reporting requirements when you are released from the jail. Are you Ms. Aguiar?
Yes.
This is 2016 CF 10047. Ma'am, you failed to appear for sentencing on May 24th of 2018. At this time, your bond is set at none, and you will see a judge in Division 14.
I'm sorry, my bail is?
None.
0? Oh,
Zero.
okay. And then I'm gonna, sorry.
You are assigned to Division 14.
Okay.
So you'll see a judge in Division 14.
Today?
No, I don't know. You'll have to get in touch with your lawyer.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Good evening.
Ms. Akins?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, ma'am, this is 23 CF 7196. You were arrested for driving while license suspended as a habitual offender. There is probable cause. You were also arrested in 23 CF 7195 for grand theft of a motor vehicle, for which there is...
Your Honor, I had a PC challenge.
Okay, go ahead.
As to the grand theft of a motor vehicle, defense would argue no PC. Although she was driving the vehicle, the passenger admitted that he got the vehicle from his ex-girlfriend, who he knew wanted the vehicle back. There was no indication that my client knew this vehicle was stolen. So defense would argue that there's a trespass, but no grand theft of a motor vehicle.
I mean, the only paragraph that gives me pause, Ms. George, is the third paragraph regarding the license plate that flew off, and then someone gave her a Texas license plate to put on the car.
Yes, Your Honor. I saw that part.
Okay. Ms. Eugene, did you want to be heard?
No, Your Honor, that would be my only response, that it would appear that Ms. Akins did know that something was amiss.
I'm going to find PC. I was going to give her a subsidiary bond on that offense anyway. So bond on 23 CF 7195 will be $150. And on 23 CF 7196, I'm going to stay the bond at $2,500. Thank you, ma'am. Are you Mr. Akins?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Akins, this is 23 CF 7205. You were arrested for possession of oxycodone and possession of methamphetamine.
And Your Honor, a defense also have PC challenge as to the meth. I do not believe, based on this affidavit, the meth was tested.
No objection.
Mr. Akins, at this time, I'm going to actually place you on pretrial release.
Yes,
You are not to possess any weapons or firearms. You are not to possess any controlled substances without a valid prescription.
Yes, ma'am.
He'll be ROR'd as to count 2.
Yes. Thank you.
Junior Aristal? Okay. I wonder if he's there for this.
I don't know, but defense will waive, Your Honor.
Okay. This is 22 CF 10319. He failed to appear for trial yesterday. His bond is set at none. DeAndre Bowen. All right, sir. You failed to appear in 22 CF 8399 for sentencing on May 26th. At
No,
this
ma'am. I did go. I went to jail from court. I went to jail from the courthouse, ma'am. I did go, but they said that Judge Egan was already gone, and I told them, and I sat there on the floor, and I told them, I said, hey, listen, I cannot leave this courthouse until y'all take me to jail because I came here for a sentencing. I literally went to jail from courthouse, if you see. Like, I really went to court to get sentenced, so I don't understand why they say I didn't appear. I went to jail from the courthouse, ma'am.
Okay. You're going to have to talk with Judge Egan about that. Is this the case? This says you failed to appear for sentencing
That's
on
what
May
I'm saying.
26th,
I went to jail from the courthouse for sentencing. I went
right? What were you sentenced to? So you couldn't
22 months. I can't March 27th, they told me to come. I signed, they say come back May 26th. I went to jail from the courthouse May 26th. I went to court to go to court.
So it looks like you're going to start serving the sentence, right? Because that would be this sentence,
The 22 months.
right? If you want to dispute the failure to appear, you can certainly talk to your lawyer and ask them to talk and file a motion. But the warrant's been executed, and it sounds like you're staying anyway because you were given 22 months.
Right, but I'm trying to figure out, is my 22 months already started? Like,
It sounds like I don't know what the agreement was. I don't know if you were actually sentenced or you were supposed to come back and be sentenced. You'll get credit for any time that you're here, but you may have to get taken over to see Judge Egan to be formally sentenced, and then you'll be processed through. But you'll get credit for the time that you're here.
okay, so he told me that if I didn't show up on that day, that I was going to get 5 years. I'm just trying to make sure I don't get 5 years.
I can't speak to that. I don't know anything about that. That's what I'm saying. You're going to see Judge Egan, and you'll be able to get this all squared away. I wasn't part of the agreement. I don't know what happened on the day you came to court, but you're going to want to talk to your lawyer about it. But in any event, you're staying here today.
With me, I'll let them reach out.
Mr. Brinson, all right. I'm going to find a waiver of his appearance based upon his refusal to come to court in 23 CF 7165. He was arrested for possession of cocaine. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender. His bond is $1,000. Ma'am, your name?
Elizabeth Chavez.
Ms. Chavez, you're here in 23 CF 7198. You were arrested for obtaining property by fraud under $20,000 in grand theft. There's probable cause. I am going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Bond on count 1 is going to be $10,000. Bond on count 2 is going to be $2,500. You're not to have any contact with the victims. And I'm looks like she's on PTD for the other case.
They'll probably kick you out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Collins? All All right, I will find a waiver of his appearance based upon his refusal to come to court in 23 CF 7184. He was arrested for grand theft, third degree, and possession of oxycodone. There's probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender. His bond on count 1 is $150, bond on count 2, $1,000. Cooper? Mr. Cooper, you are here in 23 CF 186. You were arrested for possession of cannabis with intent to sell or deliver and driving with a suspended driver's license. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you in all of your cases. Your bond on count 1 is $1,000. Your bond on count 2 is $500. You were arrested pursuant to a probable cause warrant in 23 CF 6222 for fleeing and eluding. Your bond is $4,000. And I'm revoking both of the out on bond cases, 23 CF 5999, 23 CF 6000. Those will be set at none.
Your Honor, you have permission from that judge, correct?
Yes, Division 16, Division 12.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you.
We don't need it. That's from the charge. So we're gonna have to call and speak with the attorney.
Good afternoon, sir. Tell me your name. Your name.
Hergu Dawson.
Sir, this is 23 CF 7183. You were arrested for possession of MDMA. There's probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Your bond is $1,000 and you are not to return to the monkey bar. Thank you, sir. Mr. Dunn?
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, this is 23, you have 3 cases, and I'll appoint the public defender on any cases that they have not previously been appointed on. You have 23 CF 8765, you arrested pursuant to a probable cause capias for grand theft, third degree. Your bond, sir, is $1,500. You're not to have any contact with the victim, and you're not to return to the scene. You have 2020 CF 7379, and again, grand theft, third degree. Your bond is $100. You are not to have any contact with the victim, not return to the scene, and not possess any weapons or firearms. And 20 CF 8766, you were arrested for grand theft, third degree. Excuse me. Again, pursuant to a probable cause capias, your bond is $500. You're not to return to the scene or have any contact with the victim. Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Your name? Mr. Green, this is 23 CF 7138. You were arrested for lewd and lascivious behavior, being older than 18, victim less than 16. There is probable cause. I am going to appoint the public defender to represent you.
And Your Honor, he is from Texas. I would ask that you allow him to return to Texas as long as he maintains contact with his attorney and appears for any future court dates.
All right. You here on vacation, Mr. Green?
True.
Stop, don't.
No, you don't have to tell me anything about that. I was just asking if you were here. So you live in Texas. All right, your bond is $1,000, sir. You're not to have any contact with any children under of 18. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms. You may return to the state of Texas, but you will have to return to Florida for this case. If you don't return, a warrant will be issued for your arrest. Thank you, sir.
I don't know if his stuff is still there. Could he have that one-time return to the hotel to get his belongings, Your Honor?
Yes, sir. You can go back to the hotel one time to get your things. Mr. Harden? Mr. Harden, this is 23 CF 7193. You were arrested for burglary of an occupied structure and grand theft of a motor vehicle. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Sir, you are not to return to the scene or have any contact with the victims. I am going to place you on pretrial release at this time.
Thank you.
Ms. Cusis? Ms. Cusis, you are here in 23 CF 7188. You were arrested for grand theft, third degree. There's probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to return to any Walt Disney properties, and at this time, your bond is $1,000. Thank you. Mr. Maldonado?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Maldonado, you are here in 23 CF 392. You were arrested pursuant to a probable cause warrant for death caused by the unlawful distribution of fentanyl and an unlawful use of a two-way communication device. I am going to appoint public defender to represent you. Mr. Order, are you going to have a hearing downtown?
Mhm.
All right, so Mr. Maldonado, at this time, the court is going to have bond remain set at none on count one. That is a capital offense. So you'll have a larger bond hearing downtown. Your lawyer's going to file the appropriate motion for that. And then bond on count two is going to be $1,000. Thank you, sir. Mr. Matthews?
Matthias.
How do you say it?
Matthias.
Mr. Matthias, okay.
Ma'am.
Mr. Matthias, this is 23 CF 7180. You were arrested for possession of fentanyl. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. At this time, sir, your bond is $1,000.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
I got all my phone numbers in my phone. It's locked up.
Okay.
I don't have nobody to call.
Are you telling me you don't have a way to bond out?
No. I mean,
Mr. Matthews, where do you live?
I live in Orlando.
Do you know where the Orange County Courthouse is?
Yes, ma'am.
And you know how to get in contact with the public defender's office? You can't possess or consume any controlled substances without a valid prescription.
Do what?
You cannot possess or consume any controlled substances without a valid prescription.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and I'll release you on your own recognizance at this.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate it.
Mr. May? This is 23 CF 7164. You arrested for pursuant to a probable cause warrant for possession of MDMA. Your bond, sir, is $500. You also you failed to appear in 22 CF 11261. Your hearing was on May 17th. That bond is set at none. Your lawyer will have to file a bond motion in Division 14. And then, excuse me, I'm not going to take any action on the out on bond case.
I ask a question? Sure. I didn't get an email or anything saying I had to be in court.
We'll talk.
Okay. You're going to have to talk with the judge in Division. It's their warrant, so I can't modify it. Okay? Thanks, sir. Miss Morera?
Yes, ma'am.
This is 23 CF 7192. You were arrested for criminal mischief. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You are not to return to the scene. Your bond is $1,000, ma'am.
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Negrin? Okay, I will find a waiver of his appearance based upon his refusal to come to court. In 23 CF 7204, he was arrested for possession of cocaine with intent to sell or deliver. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender. His bond is $15,000. Mr. O'Shields?
Yes.
Mr. O'Shields, sir, this is 23 CF 7190. You were arrested for attempted second-degree murder with a weapon. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Is that a PBL, Miss George?
I did not believe so because of the attempted, from what case law said.
Does the weapon? It's not a PBL. It's not, Miss Eugene?
No, it's not a PBL.
It's tricky with the attempt and with the weapon. So sometimes I just want to make sure that. All right, so Mr. O'Shields, you are not to have any contact with the victim. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms. Do you each rent a room in this home?
Yes.
I'm going to order that you are to maintain a separate residence. You can return one time with the police to get your things. Your bond, sir, is going to be $25,000. Thank you. Excuse me.
Okay.
Kira? Good afternoon, sir. This is 23 CF 6861. You were arrested pursuant to a probable cause warrant for sale and delivery of fentanyl, sale and delivery of cocaine, 2 counts of possession of fentanyl, a count of possession of cocaine, and unlawful use of a two-way communication device. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. Bond on count 1 is $20,000. Bond on count 2 is $5,000. Bond on count 3 is $150. Bond on count 4, $150. 5, $150. 6, $150. You're not to possess any drugs or alcohol. Jennifer Robinette? Okay. Is this? I'll find a waiver based upon his refusal to come to court. 23 CF 6862. He was arrested pursuant to a probable cause for petty theft with 2 prior convictions. The bond is $2,500. He's not to have any contact with the victim or witnesses. He's not to return to any family dollars or the scene, possess any alcohol or drugs, or possess any weapons. 23 CF 7186, he was arrested for possession of drug paraphernalia, possession of a controlled substance without a prescription, and possession of cocaine. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender. Bond on count 1 is $100 to $150,000.
I apologize, Your Honor. With regard to the last case, can you repeat the bonds? I apologize.
Sure. So the first one on 6862 is $2,500.
Yes.
And 7168 is $100, $150, $1,000. I state all of them.
Thank you.
Sure. Mr. Valega Nieto?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, sir. You are here in 23 CF 7202 for possession of methamphetamine. There is probable cause. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. Your bond is $1,000 on case. You're not to possess or consume any controlled substances without a valid prescription.
That's it.
Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
Hayden Wamhoff.
Mr. Wamhoff, this is 23 CF 7187. You were arrested for aggravated assault with a firearm. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms. If you do have any firearms in your possession, you will need to surrender those to the Sheriff's Department within 24 hours of your release from custody. All right, sir. Your bond is $3,500. Thank you. Is Ms. Watkins?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Watkins, you are here in 23 CF 7189. You were arrested for possession of cocaine, possession of heroin, possession of drug paraphernalia. There's probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Your bond on count 1 is $1,000. Bond on 2 is $150. 3 and 4 is $100. And then I'm revoking the bonds in 23 CF 4050 and 23 CF 6114. Their divisions both in. Mr. Williams? All right, I will find a waiver of his appearance based upon his inability to come to court in 23 CF 7200. He was arrested for burglary of a dwelling with an assault or battery. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender. He is not to return to the scene or have any contact with the victims or possess any weapons or firearms. His bond will remain at none. This is 23 CF 5508, Thomas Williams. The state's motion to extend the defendant's custody to 40 days.
In your honor, defense would object to this motion. We were, one, not properly noticed. This was filed today, this morning, and defense would also argue once again that the lack of, the backlog with FDLE is still not sufficient for good cause, being that this is a known issue and it was not pushed earlier, Your Honor, in addition to the fact that the state waited until today to file the 40-day motion, which does not properly notice the attorney assigned or the PD's office, Your Honor.
Okay. Miss Eugene, did you want to be heard?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. So at this time, we had this same motion yesterday, and so at this time, I do not find that there is good cause to extend the time for filing to the 40th day based upon the information that's contained in the motion. The state attorney can file the charges. They're just choosing not to file them at this time. So for those reasons, I don't find that there's good cause. As we stated yesterday, I think that these motions continue to appear. I think, and that supports the fact that it's becoming more common. So the motion's going to be denied. So then 23 CF 5508, Thomas Williams, the 33-day motion will. 23 CF 54391, Roberto Santiago Madeira.
Granted, notice of non-filing.
Granted. 23 MM 2820, Selena Esquex.
Granted, notice of non-filing.
Granted. 23 CF 5268, Antoine Andrews.
Granted, granted, notice of non-filing.
Granted. 23 CF 3629, Edison Hockaday.
I'm sorry, what case number did you have?
23 CF 3629.
Oh, there's two. Granted, notice of non-filing.
Okay, granted. 23 CF 5533,
Denied.
Edison Hockaday.
Yeah, denied. Information was filed.
Okay. 23 CF 5495, Andy Lang.
Denied. Information was filed.
Denied. 23 CF 5535, D'Angelo Johnson.
Granted. Notice of non-filing.
Granted. 23 CF 5992, Jeremy Sheffin.
Granted. Notice of non-filing.
Granted. 23 CF 5582, Henry Robinson.
Granted. Notice of non-filing.
Granted. 22 CF 14523, Jamie Copeland.
Denied, and information was filed.
Denied. 23 CF 2780, Tristan Hunt.
Granted, notice of non-filing.
Granted. 23 CF 5548, Ashley Kofi.
Granted, notice of non-filing.
Granted. 23 CF 3670, Daniel Stevens.
Granted, notice of non-filing.
Granted. 23 CF 4354, Rufus Harvin.
Granted, notice of non-filing.
Granted. 23 CF 5237, Tasia Rao.
Granted, notice of non-filing.
Granted. 23 CF 4490, Coy Valentine.
Granted, notice of non-filing.
Granted. 23 CF 3624, Samuel Felix.
Denied, and information was filed.
Denied. 23 CF 5622, Samuel Felix.
Granted, notice of non-filing.
Granted. 23 CF 5171, Travis Bryan.
Granted, notice of non-filing.
Granted. 23 CF 3999, Keith Young.
Granted, notice of non-filing.
Granted. 23 CF 3461, Keith Young.
Denied, that was consolidated into 23 CF 3460, and an information has been filed.
3460.
And the information has been filed.
That'll be denied. 23 CF 5585, Viante Henderson.
Granted, notice of non-filing.
I apologize, Your Honor. I am just making sure that I'm providing the court with accurate information.
I'm looking for. So, under the assumption they were not ineligible for bond, I'd set bond at $25,000 each, so times 10, that's $250, and $15,000 on the remaining two, for another $30, for a total of $280,000. Do you want to tinker with it anymore, or let that stand?
Your Honor, counts 1 through 10 are PBL. Your Honor, they are PBL.
All right, defense, you agree that PBLs are not eligible for bond? Okay, I'm going to set bond at 0, and let the trial judge sort that out if he wants to. That's on the first 10. The other two, I'll set bond on counts 11 and 12 at $15,000 each. Does that make sense? All right, thank you.
Next court date on demand.
Jorge Luis Montanez Ferrer, PD appointed.
Your Honor, you want no contact with this?
He's not getting out.
Okay.
Good afternoon, sir. I have Robert Dustin Love.
Oh, he bonded. Is the next one Jorge?
Sorry.
Jorge Luis Montanez Ferrer.
All right, Mr. Montanez Ferrer. I have read your charging affidavit. I find probable cause. You were arrested on a warrant. The warrant provides for a bond of $500. I'll stay the bond at $500. Good luck to you.
Next court date, August 2nd in courtroom 5B at 8:30 a.m. Jaden Christopher Toller, PD appointed.
Good afternoon, sir. I've reviewed your very short charging affidavit. It appears you were arrested on a bond for failure to appear out of Judge Beamer's courtroom. He has set no bond on it. I'll stay the bond at 0, and you can apply to him to have a bond reestablished. Thank you.
Court date on demand.
Larry Williams.
Next one, Larry Donnell Williams, PD appointed.
Ms. Jenkins, it says hold for DOC. What does that mean?
He's already incarcerated in prison
They brought him back to
for this charge.
pursue these charges?
Yes, sir.
All right. Mr. Williams, I've reviewed your charging affidavit. Actually, there's an information that has been filed in the case. I find probable cause for the 3 charges. I'll set your bond at 0. Apparently, you're currently serving a sentence, so you're really technically not eligible for release. Good luck to you on the resolution of those charges, sir. Step back.
Your Honor, may we readdress Mr. Jaden Toller?
Sure.
For Mr. Williams, next court date, June 6th in courtroom 5F at 8:15 a.m. Jaden Christopher Toller.
Your Honor, Mr. Toller was seen this morning in Judge Carson's courtroom, stepping in for Judge Beamer.
Okay.
I just wanted to ensure Judge Carson did provide release, conditions of release, and I believe a bond in his case this morning. I just wanted to make sure that the court was aware of that. I don't know.
We haven't received any paperwork from court yet, so they haven't probably done the order.
All right, Mr. Toller, were you in court this morning?
Yes, I was, Your Honor.
What are the current conditions of your release?
They said to follow up with my address in Altamont Springs. I had to write down my new address and my contact info.
Did you get a bond?
Yes, it was around 200.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Judge, I'm gonna go ahead and write that on the order. We're still gonna reflect that you stayed this for today's purpose. The FTA warrant stays at 0. However, it's gonna reflect defendant was given bonds and conditional release in front of Judge Carson today.
When that order hits the file, you'll be eligible for release.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Appreciate that, Mr. Savage.
Thank you, Your Honor.
We on Raven Diaz.
Raven Elijah Diaz, no application for this defendant.
Your Honor, the victim in this case is present.
All right, Ms. Diaz, I've read your charging affidavit. I find probable cause. I set bond on count 1 at $7,500, on count 2 at $1,500. I'll stay the bond on count 3, criminal mischief, at $2,500. I'm sorry, I'll change that to $1,500. And the final charge, burglary of a structure, armed. The bond is $15,000. That total bond is something on the order of $25,500. I'll order that you are permitted to have contact with the alleged victim, but it must be non-hostile. You cannot argue, you cannot fight. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
And you can return to that residence. It will be a violation of your conditions of release if you have a single argument or a fight with him. Do you understand?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, where's the victim in this case? Is that what you wanted? Yes, sir? All right. All right, the victim's in agreement with that. Thank you very much, ma'am. Step back.
Thank you so much.
Next court date on demand. Cindy Khalifa Elot, PD appointed.
All right, ma'am, I've read your charging affidavit. I find probable cause. I'll stay your bond at, looks like 500. Or set your bond at 500. Order you to have no hostile contact with the victim in this case. Do you understand what that means? Okay. You may return to the residence, but again, no hostile contact. Good luck.
Next court date on demand. Lois Clayton McCoy, denied above guidelines.
I'm sorry, you said?
He bonded, Your Honor.
Okay. So it should be Gregory Thomas Rush.
Yes, yes. Mm-hmm.
Gregory Thomas Rush, PD appointed.
All right, sir. I've read your charging affidavit. I find probable cause. I'll stay your bond at $1,000. Good luck to you.
Next court date if still in jail, June 8th. If out, June 13th in courtroom 5B at 8:30 a.m. Justin Edward Saunders, PD appointed.
Mr. Saunders, I've read your charging affidavit. I'll stay the bond at $2,500. On that case, I'll order you not to drive without a valid driver's license. I see you're out on pretrial release conditions in 22 CF 1587 and 23 CF 219. I'm going to revoke your release status in those cases. You can see that it looks like they're Judge Karsten. You can see Judge Karsten about reinstating your bond. Next case.
And you're setting those two at 0?
0.
Next court date for 23 CF 1636 on demand, and you stayed the $2,500 bond, correct?
Yes.
And Your Honor, the first one, it was bond with PTR, and then the second case at 23, it was bond only. Okay.
Their revoked statuses are revoked. It's 0 bond in both cases.
Thank you, sir.
Last case, Michael Joshua Bellew, 23 CF 1605, PD appointed.
Are you Mr. Bellew? Yes, sir. All right, sir. I'm sorry? I'm going to ask a couple questions. Ms. Jenkins, his risk assessment says high.
Yes, sir.
Yet he somehow qualifies for PTR.
Yes, sir. But you have the discretion, Your Honor.
Well, I'm aware that I have discretion.
Yep.
But that seems to be contradictory. Do you agree?
Yes, sir. I agree with you.
All right. I find probable cause, sir, after reviewing your arrest affidavit. I'll stay your bond at $1,000. Good luck to you. You
Next court date on demand.
may not participate in PTR. Anything else?
That should be all, Judge.
Madam Clerk, did we address Mr. Larry Williams.
Yeah, he set the bond at 0. And he has arraignment next.
We haven't addressed Love Dustin yet, Your Honor?
His bonds were posted, so he just gotta sit tight and wait for them to process him out. Welcome.
Thank you, Your Honor. Nothing else from the state.
We're all good, counsel?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Just asking if we're all good.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, perfect. Have a great day.
Just gotta promote.